So every diocese gets to send, from across the country, gets to send a bishop, their bishop, and it depends a little bit on the size of your diocese, but our diocese has 3 clergy reps, 3 lay reps, and then a youth delegate. And so if you think about that, that's 8 people, and one of them is a young person. So they have a pretty big voice, they have a pretty big vote, so they get to participate as full delegates, full voting delegates, like any other delegate in the House of Lay People. It means that, you know, a quarter of the House of Lay People is young people. So we have about a day and a half with the youth delegates before main General Synod, the main part of General Synod starts. And so we're doing a variety of things with them. They're more likely to be unfamiliar with things like Robert's Rules, so we're spending some time talking about that with them so that they really understand how they can be the most effective they can be in the meetings. Giving them some background on the really big issues that are coming up. We are hoping to be able to give them, and this may actually happen during the main part of General Synod, an opportunity to meet with the primatial candidates. That would be very exciting. And also doing some fun things in Vancouver, because a lot of them are coming from across the country and maybe have never been to Vancouver, maybe never will be again. I know there's at least one young person coming from the Arctic who's never left the Arctic before. And we're doing an outdoor Eucharist, and then we're just giving them some beach time. And doing some fun things in Vancouver too, because we know that this is an opportunity that they won't have any other time. I think that there's a myth that young people are uninterested, because I think there is truth to that young people are often uninterested in church, and I think there's a couple reasons for that. I think that we don't do a good job of explaining what we're doing in church, and that if young people haven't grown up in the tradition, or even if they have, but with formation that takes them out of church and doesn't ever explain what happens upstairs, someday they age out of Sunday school and they have no idea what's happening upstairs and why we're doing it, and it just seems like a foreign language, and so why would they stick around? And I think the second part of that is that when the church doesn't listen to young people and doesn't respond to young people, of course they're uninterested. I was at a conference a few years ago, and there's a priest who's done a lot of research on young people in the church, and talking about the different generations and their kind of different histories of how they interact with church. The silent generation, and this generation that just went to church all the time, and then the boomers, and then Gen X, and these kind of different views of church. And what he said about millennials, and actually even Gen Xers, or Gen Y now is actually the generation that is like teenagers now, is that they're really focused on justice issues in the world. And that, and if they see a church that is insular and not concerned with the world, they don't care. And that's been my personal experience, and that's both as a young person who is really concerned with those issues, and here at this church, where I think that we do a really good job of trying to pay attention to, we're not perfect or anything, but we're trying to pay attention to the world, and how do we respond to the world, and how do we be Christians in the world. And I see a lot of young people here who are really, those are the things that they are concerned about, and that they see that their church is worried about them, and they see a place for themselves in the church.